The sole purpose of this video is to provide a basic overview and orientation of your new apparatus. This video is not intended to act as or replace individualized driver-operator training. Individual fire departments may base guidelines, policies, and procedures tailored for best practices. Pierce Manufacturing and Hughes Fire Equipment representatives are not liable for injuries caused from acts resulting from actions inconsistent with the information provided within this video and/or accompanying manuals. Refer to the Operation and Maintenance Manual for complete details relating to the components and features of this apparatus. Only trained personnel should operate this vehicle or perform maintenance. You are responsible for learning how to operate this fire apparatus under all conditions without having to refer to the manual while operating at an emergency incident. This video will discuss types of warnings and caution labels. It is your responsibility to locate and identify each of the labels and understand the importance and associated hazards. Warning labels will point out procedure that must be taken or action that must be avoided to guard against the possibility of serious injury or death. Caution labels will advise you that there is a risk of damage to property if certain precautions are not followed. Continuous training, reviewing of operation and service manuals, developing good standardized practices will assist driver operators with a more complete understanding of the components and operation of this fire apparatus. As the driver operator of this vehicle, you are responsible for understanding the function of each component of the apparatus, maintaining control of the fire apparatus at all times while in operation. Make operational and functional changes while operating at an emergency without having to read operator's instructions or safety warning labels. Operate manual override and emergency shutdown procedures immediately if a component fails to operate properly. Components location may vary with each Pierce fire apparatus. Review the exact location of each component prior to operation. Major inconsistencies between your vehicle and the information contained in this video should be directed to your sales representative. Safe operation of any vehicle is the responsibility of the driver operator. You must learn the location and function of all controls, switches, gauges, valves, inlets, and discharges. Due to a higher center of gravity, heavy trucks have a significantly higher rollover tendency than other types of vehicles. To reduce the risk of rollover, avoid making sharp turns, excessive speed, and avoid abrupt maneuvers. In the event of a rollover crash, an unbelted person is significantly more likely to become injured or die than a person wearing a seatbelt. In the event of a crash, unbuckled occupants can also become a hazard to other occupants, as they may be thrown around inside the cab. Seatbelts are required while in operation. Please refer to your warranty certificates for details and information enclosed in your manuals. Customer-installed equipment must be mounted to withstand road travel and comply with NFPA 1901. Modifications such as drilling holes or welding to structural frame components of the chassis are not permitted. Contact Pierce for instruction and review of non-structural sheet metal or other dissimilar metals for modification. Follow the radio installation guide for further assistance on installing or mounting electronics. Before placing your new apparatus into service, perform a primary inspection of key components of the apparatus, including all fluid levels, anti-lock braking systems, electronic stability control, and automatic traction control. Weigh your apparatus to ensure that it conforms to axle and brake ratings. Never exceed the gross axle rating printed on the label inside the cab. Exceeding these ratings could lead to reduced component life, personal injury, or death. Review the use of auxiliary braking systems, compression brake, exhaust brake, electronic retarder, and hydraulic retarder. Before placing the apparatus in service, refer to the operational maintenance manuals. Information on the operation and maintenance functions for the components such as the pump, pressure governor, and foam systems, along with other options, is provided in either the Pierce manuals and/or other manufacturer support information delivered with the apparatus. If you need more information, please contact Hughes Fire Equipment. Congratulations, Idaho Falls, on your new apparatus, job number 31336. Please utilize this job number when referencing your apparatus with Hughes Fire Equipment and Pierce Manufacturing. Let's get started on a brief orientation of your new apparatus. Starting at the front bumper, on the extended portion, right and left side, you'll find two side-facing emergency warning lights. Located on the face, flush-mounted dual air horns. Located on the passenger side, you'll find your mechanical siren. As we move up onto the top of the extension of your bumper, you'll find this tubbed storage area for your front bumper line. Moving on to the body on the side, you'll find a marker turn indicator. Moving just inside of that location, you'll find the headlight cluster offering the low and high beams. High beam is the enter beam. Moving up from the headlight cluster, you'll find your turn arrow and a forward-facing emergency light. Located on the side of the apparatus, you'll find your call sign 491. In addition, you'll find grab handles on the right and left side and a single-piece seamless windshield with 3 windshield wipers. Let's take a look at some close-ups. Here's the deck lid to the top of that front bumper load. You'll find inside the tub storage area an 1.5-inch swivel discharge port. Close up here of the headlight cluster, turn indicator cluster. Let's go ahead and move up onto the top. Over the brow of the apparatus, you'll find forward-facing running lights. Located in the center, you'll find a center forward-facing floodlight. Up onto the top or roof area, you'll find your emergency light bar. Let's take a look at the driver's side of the vehicle. Starting once again on that left front bumper, you'll find your side-facing warning light. Moving up from that, you'll find pull handles, which are keyed locks. In addition, with all points of entry, you'll find your grab handles. You'll also find down in the lower corner your auto eject for shore power inlet, and just above that, you'll find your water tank visual indicator. Let's take a look at the close-up here. This is going to be a 20 amp auto eject plug for shore power. Let's take a look at your pump panel. We'll start here in the upper left-hand corner. First, starting with the cross lay. This is a 2.5-inch cross lay. Moving down from that location, let's start just at the top. You'll find a warning label regarding entanglement because of those hose coming off the side of the vehicle. You also find in yellow the number 1 cross lay, and just beneath that in white the number 2 cross lay. Both of these speed lays have the ability to have that inner section removed for loading of the hose. On the rear section, you'll find this knob regarding the ability to raise and lower your light. Let's take a look at some of the components here. It has your job number. It also has 150, 200, and 250 test pressures, and the associated RPM and GPM. Let's move across on the pump panel itself, and we'll discuss some of the items within this area. Let's first start with your foam system. This is the section here in red. This is a Foam Pro 1600. It has the specifications on the left-hand side for concentrated Class A foam. In the black section here, you'll find your operating instructions with an on-off and a system status. And to the very far right, you'll find your foam level indicator. As we move into the gray area, we're going to find your master intake, master discharge. And then just beneath that, you're going to find the vacuum and test ports for vacuum and pressure. They currently have caps on those now. Let's move to the right again. In the gray area again, you'll find your Pierce TPG throttle pressure governor. This black speaker is for an audible alarm. Just up from that, you'll find a warning and do not open throttle unless the light is on, engaging your pump. Let's move to the right-hand side. We'll talk about some of the switches here. First, if your pump is engaged properly, you'll find a pump engage green indicator. You also have your panel lights, driver side flood, passenger side flood, and a reel rewind. In addition, at the top, you can see you have your pump compartment heater
and a red evacuation push button. Moving to the valves across this area, you're going to find first in purple your front discharge. This is going to be your bumper line. You'll also find in yellow the number 1 speed lay. Once again, those 2 lines are foam capable. The number 2 speed lay in gray and white. And then you'll see all the way to the far right here, we're going to find your real discharge, which is foam capable, and then also a real blowdown. This is a turn, not a pull. All the way to the far right, this is in gray. This is your 2.5-inch discharge, the first line we mentioned at the top. And then this is your panel gauge heater. Let's move down to the lower section in the black area. This is going to be your onboard additional pump on the top of the apparatus. We'll go over some of those components next. This is your start location, and then you can see on the throttle on the right. Moving down to the next section, you'll find your number 1 driver's side discharge, 2.5-inch. Number 2, passenger side, 2.5-inch. Your number 3, and then your number 4. All of these are color-coded red, orange, blue, and green, clearly labeled. You're also going to find in the upper right-hand corner, once again, there is a possibility of falling off the apparatus, so do not ride on the apparatus while it is moving. We'll move all the way up to the very top here. We'll talk about your deluge discharge. This is in kind of a pink reddish color. And then to the right, you'll find this warning label regarding pressurized caps and the associated hazards with pressurized caps and removing those labels. As we move further over, you're going to find your fire pump with instructions here for at least 1,000 RPMs to engage. You have a water level here in the blue section indicating your tank level. Moving to the right, these are both turn, not pull. This is your recirculating line. And then just beneath that, you'll find your engine cooler. And all the way down at the very bottom, you're going to find the tank to pump. Let's move further down on the pump panel, talk about some of the items here. First, starting in the upper right-hand corner, this is going to be your maintenance operations schedule. Just beneath that, this is the red placard from Watrous indicating the type of pump that you have. In the center, you'll find the Eagle American flag Pierce logo, large diameter intake. You'll find 2 additional auxiliary inlets, 2.5-inch on this side. And then you're also going to find the associated drains, which are clearly color-coded and labeled. To the right, you're going to find your main pump drain. And just underneath that pump drain, you'll find your transmission pump. Let's move to the left again. We're going to find the 2 driver's side auxiliary inlets. These are 2.5-inch. Associated drains for those across the bottom. And then as you look into the tub area, you'll find a tubbed storage area for hose storage. Let's move further back to the rear of the apparatus. Let's talk a little bit about some of the components here. You have under truck storage for your wheel chocks, folding wheel chocks located here. You have a marker light turn indicator on the section just in front of the rear wheel. Up on top, there are 2 compartments here. In this compartment, 3 SCBA bottle storages, emergency side-facing light, and then all of your DEF and diesel fill locations behind this access panel. We'll talk about those next, but first let's go up on top of the apparatus. We'll talk a little bit about some of the items here. This is your Redlar booster line. This is going to be the friction wheel. Just up from that, this will be the manual rewind. And as we look forward to that, you'll find in the center your extension here for your master stream device. And as we look just to the right-hand side, this is the location of that auxiliary pump. To access that auxiliary pump, there are some levers on the top to gain access. Once that access door is open, that'll gain access to the entire top portion of your vehicle. You can see the engine located on the right-hand side in red. And then you'll also find an auxiliary fuel tank here for that engine. Here's a top view of your apparatus. There is a primer located on the left-hand side where the arrows indicated, and also a pull start here. This is an image here of the fuel location. There is also a prime hose on the right-hand side and also a fill location on top. Just behind that, you're going to find your water fill location and your foam and also a work light. Generalized view here looking back to the hose bed area. And then we'll go ahead and take a look at some of these other items here. First, let's take a look at the water fill. This is a top fill location and it has no latch whatsoever. As we move to the A or foam tank fill location for A, There is a warning regarding mixing foam, and it is latched. On the sides of the apparatus, you'll find additional storage that has lighting within inside. Then let's go ahead and move to the side of the apparatus, and this is the location you would fit your rigid hoses for drafting. Let's go ahead and take a look in some of the compartments. First, starting with the first compartment on the driver's side, we'll move up to the upper left-hand corner. This is going to be a shore power outlet. Just above that shore power outlet, which is currently plugged in, you'll find your auto charger when plugged into shore power, and then just right next to that, you'll find the air compressor when plugged into shore power in the inlet. Moving down from this location, you'll find those 3 bottle storage locations, in addition with strapping for securing those bottles for safety. To the mid compartment here above the wheel, you'll find additional storage location and also lighting with inside. This is the compartment here housing the DEF and fill for diesel fill. The silver cap is your diesel. The blue cap is your DEF, 4.5 US gallons. To the rear compartment at the very bottom, you'll find your folding wheel chock, adjustable fixed shelving. Let's move to the rear of the apparatus. We'll talk about some of the components here, starting on the left with the cluster here for reverse, brake, turn, and emergency warning. There are also sufficient grab handles here to gain access to the top of the vehicle, and also folding steps on the left and also on the right side of the vehicle. Let's go ahead and move on the left-hand side. You'll find an auxiliary inlet in the rear, 2.5 inch, and just above that you'll find a 2.5 inch discharge. Moving to the very top, you'll find 2 rear-facing floodlights. At the very base of the apparatus under the truck, you'll find your perimeter lighting. You'll also find in the center, mounted high, is your reverse or backup camera. And then also an access door here, which we'll talk about in the next set of images regarding your ladders. Let's take a close-up look here at the brake, turn, reverse emergency lighting setup here on the cluster. Moving up from that, you can see this is the auxiliary inlet and also discharge. In the center, you'll find your backup camera just over the Pierce logo. As we look to the roll-up door, you'll find 2 shelves in this area at the very bottom location, and then a mid-mounted shelf above that. On the access, you'll find a 24-foot and 14-foot ground ladder. The 14-foot is a roof ladder. At the very top, you'll find long tool storage area, for example, pike bowls. And on the right-hand side, a 10-foot attic ladder. Let's take a look at the passenger side of the vehicle. In these compartments, in the lower compartment, you'll find a pull-out style shelf. Above that, an adjustable fixed shelf. Mid-area above the rear tire, you'll find additional storage here. And as we move forward, you'll find the same configuration with CBA bottle storage and straps. Moving forward to that location, you can see 2 adjustable shelves and also a pull-out shelf at the very bottom. In this area, I'd also like to point out that this is the location of a sticker regarding a warning, hot diesel exhaust, and you can see the exhaust on the right-hand side. Be cautious as to where you park because of those extreme temperatures. Let's go ahead and move midship area. We'll take a look at some of the components within this area. First, let's start down at the lower section. We'll start with drain valves located at the very bottom section, color-coded. As we move up from that location, we'll find this access door. Once we gain access into this door, we'll talk about that in a few moments in the next slide. And then we'll find your large diameter passenger side inlet. This is the location inside this access door for your intake relief valve. Down at the very bottom, once again, you can see these are going to be all of your drain valves and also tub storage for hose. Moving to the right, you're going to find the passenger side auxiliary inlets. There are 2 of those, 2.5 inch. Moving up from this location, you'll find 2 additional discharges, number 4 and number 2. These are both 2.5 inch discharge ports. Just down from that, you'll find the pump intake and pump discharge turns, not pull style. And then underneath that, you'll find the passenger side and speed lay drains. Also located here, you're going to find your cab lift. Raise is a protected switch and the activate on the right-hand switch. Please seek the advice of the caution and danger labels. Inside, you'll find access behind the cab panel. In this additional access door, you'll find your foam drain, and then just up from that foam drain, you'll find a yellow handle. That yellow handle has some instructions on this door for helping you drain and fill your foam location. Here are the instructions here in the next slide. The level handle horizontal for foam operations. To fill, move the handle vertical. Generalized view here of the rear section of the apparatus. You can see that same configuration with the adjustable light. And also on the rear portion of your apparatus, passenger side, you have an additional tank water level indicator. Let's go ahead and move just inside the cab rear section from the passenger side looking in. You can get a configuration here of your storage cabinets and also information for storage. Let's take a look at the seating area. You can see the two outer sections are fold-up seats, and the inner sections is going to be a SCBA fixed mounted seats. There are 3 seats located here. All of them offer SCBA storage within them. Overhead, you'll find your Firecom system. Located just forward of those seats, you'll find this access door. This is for the operator's daily checks for engine oil and transmission checks. Just out in the outer edges over those compartment storage locations, you'll find additional storage at the very top, which also houses LED lighting so you can see inside those compartments. Let's take a look inside one of the compartments here. This is going to be the passenger side LED lighting in addition with a shelf that's adjustable. At the very top of this compartment, you'll find short line outlet and also a ability to plug in with a rocker switch to turn off this breaker bar. Located on the left-hand side or driver's side, you'll find additional storage locations for map books and resources. General view here of the rear section of the apparatus. You can see the 2 LED lights on either side. Looking back into that compartment here, this is the passenger side. Once again, adjustable shelving and also LED lightings. As we move upward in this location, you'll find that shoreline outlet plug here and also an additional plug resource here with a switched breaker on it. Just in between the rear section and the driver and passenger, you'll find additional storage location here with an adjustable shelf. And as we move inside the cab of the passenger area, we'll take a look at some of the components. First look at the very front, you'll find the fill location for your windshield wipers. Also at foot level, you'll find additional foot pedals. This is going to be for your air horn and mechanical siren. Both of these are foot pedal push on and release once your foot is off. Up onto the dash itself, you'll find 2 barrel style 12-volt access points. And then let's go ahead and look overhead of the passenger seat. You'll find a couple of covers in addition with your Firecom system. You'll also find these white and red warning labels regarding there are wires behind those components or cover plates. This is your Firecom system. Just beneath that, this is the Firecom wireless base system. And then let's go ahead and take a look at the center cowling of your apparatus. You'll find 2 LED charging stations here. And then as we look overhead in between both the passenger and driver, you'll find your air conditioning unit above and also your plug-in locations for your Firecom headset system. Let's now move to the driver's section. You'll find a couple of warning and danger labels here regarding diesel exhaust and also other hazards. On all points of entry at the door, you'll find warning labels regarding the use of seatbelts. Seek the advice of those warning labels. And let's go ahead and move down to the lower section here. This is the air inlet. This is the tubbed well storage area for your step gaining access into the driver's seat. Just beneath that, you'll find the auto charger. This will activate when plugged into shore power and provide information. On that label at about knee height, ankle height for the operator, you'll find your Pierce manufactured by for the city of Idaho Falls. It has the manufacture date, the job number 31336. It also has gross vehicle weight ratings in addition with cold tire inflation. Your VIN number, which is also located on the A pillar. And then just beneath that, you'll find all of the fluid capacities for the components, fluid capacities, and also fluid types. Left-hand side at the foot location, you'll find your mechanical siren pedal. Moving up from that knee height, you'll find your silver master battery switch. In green, the engine, transmission, and ABS diagnostic port. And then switches across the bottom for ABS diagnostic, DPF regen, engine diagnostic, and regen inhibit. On the opposite side, you're going to find your road to pump. This is an engaged switch here that's air actuated. This will provide you from road to pump and from pump to road. There are also 2 indicators, one green pump engaged. Second one will illuminate OK to pump. On the opposite side, you'll find your main mirror and convex mirror. These are the controls for those. Underneath the front of the seat, you'll find, and also on the side, you'll find comfort controls here for your air ride seat. Let's go ahead and take a look at the side panel of the door. Once again, you'll find at all points of entry for personnel these set of warning labels. Let's start with the dash itself. On the left, you'll find your ignition, start and stop switch. In the center here to the right in this cutout, you'll find a headlight switch and parking lights, panel lights for brightening and dimming, and then an EM switch for emergency master for your emergency lights. On the actual dash, you're going to find your transmission oil, DEF level, and water temp. In the center, you'll find your tachometer and speedometer. And on the right, you're going to find your volts, fuel gauge, front and rear air displays above and below the speedometer and tachometer. On the right, down at the lower section above the pump shift, you'll find your on-off for engaging the high idle and a high idle indicator, which is green. Generalized view here of the center section of the cab. We'll talk a little bit about those first. The yellow triangle, system parking brakes, push to release, pull to apply. On the right, you'll find your windshield wiper control. And then let's go ahead and take a look at some of the components within the dash area. First, starting in the upper left with your engine brake on-off, engine brake high, medium, and low, electronic air horn, mirror heat, your load manager, and in red, you'll find the siren brake. Moving down from this location, you're going to find once again on the left the system parking brake, pull to apply, push to release. On the right, you'll find your transmission pad by Allison, and you'll find a note indicating pump in drive. Also located in the center, you'll find your climate control for heating and defrost, heat and AC. Let's go ahead overhead of the operator. We'll find a few things here. Let's start first on the left-hand side. You'll find a yellow placard. This is from Pierce Manufacturing. This is indicating your height, 10 feet 5 inches, length 32.10, and gross vehicle weight at 22.5 tons. Overhead, you'll find your emergency master, roof light, front warning light, side warning light, lower rear warning, and upper rear warning. All of these switches will illuminate when they are positively engaged. To the right of that location, you'll find your high beam flash, the Opticom, which is located in the light bar, a future switch location, front flood, driver side flood, and the passenger side flood. Let's move just to the right of that. You'll find an additional water level indicator. There are 4 levels here indicating the water amount in your tank. As we move to the right, you'll find your Pierce seatbelt information, red indicating someone is in the seat and not belted, green indicating that they are in the seat and belted. Let's move just underneath this. You can kind of see the mount beneath that. This is going to be your backup, but what I would like to take a look at is this red indicator here. This is you have a compartment or door ajar and that will light. Do not move the apparatus. On the A-pillar of the vehicle, you'll find your VIN number. This is also located on that yellow placard on the driver's right ankle area, but this is going to be the A-pillar on the driver's side, VIN number. Looking to the rear section of your apparatus, you can see those 3 SCBA style seats. The 2 outer seats are fold-up style. And let's go ahead and take a look once again in the rear section of your apparatus, just a different configuration here from this side of the vehicle, looking across 2 compartments in the front. You can see now the other side showing the 3 seats that also have the ability for your SCBAs. Red seat belts for visual identification. Congratulations, Idaho Falls, on your new apparatus, job number 31336. Once again, please utilize that number when referencing your vehicle with Hughes Fire Equipment. If you have any questions regarding this video or the content of this video, please contact your Hughes Fire sales representative. Thank you and congratulations on your new apparatus.